Right.
Oh, you need to put that in there.
Thanks for joining back. We're talking about donors here, and in part one, Elena and I went over our story and how we chose a donor for Olivia.
But in part two,
right now,
we asked Carrie's followers for their stories.
you have popcorn on your face. Just because the popcorn is out of shot doesn't mean it's not there. Just saying.
It's here.
So we're just going to.
Well, they saw my trick.
That's true.
Hopefully you put my trick.
I'm not going to cut your popcorn trick out.
Okay.
All right. So we're just going to go through a lot of other ways that people have done it because obviously you have to pick what's right for you. So let's see. This is, I'm just going to say all the names even though I don't know. So this is Heidi Drabs. Heidi Drabs. We chose an open donor from Seattle Sperm Bank. We were looking for a Japanese donor and there are not many at each sperm bank. We registered at our bank's sibling registry and we made contact with a Canadian couple who has 2 daughters from our donor. We're in contact and send emails every holiday and birthday. We're so elated that our daughter will know 2 of her biological sisters when she's older. It's also great to be able to share personalities, and if anything medical ever comes up, we can share that too. We know that our donor only has kids from one other family besides us and the other couple we're in contact with, and he is retired from donating sperm. So we'll be trying for number 2 in about a year with the same donor. That's cool. We didn't do the sibling registry
I like
thing.
the idea of of the sibling registry. It's just not for us.
If
Like,
Olivia wants to do it,
No.
yes, she can.
Well, she can do it when she's like older, but for us, we just didn't. For us, we didn't want it, right?
Okay, so this is B. Stoltz 25. We use a known donor and a great friend of ours who will always be the donor, never dad. He's signed over all rights and has no custody. I'm choking on popcorn. That's cool. So that's what we were saying about known donors versus
Or a person you know.
yeah.
Versus going through a sperm bank.
That's
Which is
cool.
really cool because you have unlimited. A lot of our friends are doing that, and they have unlimited access to the stuff. And obviously, it's way cheaper, and you can ask questions, and,
And
you
it's
can
just
have a
more
relationship.
personal, like money aside, but people often choose that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool if you can do that, but for us, that just wasn't what we wanted.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool that you guys took care of the legal stuff too, because that's definitely important no matter what.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, we even did that, really. We even have a contract that says, you know, we're about to conceive this child, and it's...
If I die during childbirth,
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff, so that no one would try to take Carrie's child away from her,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
If
Or-
you die during childbirth, or if
Yeah.
I leave you, then I still have to pay child, whatever it's called.
Oh, you're gonna pay. She's
Well,
gonna
I would
pay.
never leave you. Okay, this is Nat44830. We use a donor from Seattle Sperm Bank. We chose them due to their donor choices, and all their donors seem to have wonderful emphasis on their own education. We found one that best seemed to suit my wife's features and family history. We know that our donor had other positive pregnancies. We're fortunate to get pregnant on our first IUI attempt. It all happened so fast. Our little man arrived in July, healthy and happy. We're so ecstatic that we're now a family of 4. That's so awesome. Congratulations. We're also surprised at how easy it was to find a great fertility clinic in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that was supportive of our family. Thankfully, we have health insurance that helped pay for the process and FSA account. We walked into the whole process to just see what our options are. It literally took us 1 month. I do wish that we, hang on, she's still like,
Oh, wow.
I do wish, I know, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I do wish that we could know other families that have used our donor in case of medical issues. Sorry for the choppy reply. My little man is on my lap snoozing. That's so sweet. Oh my gosh.
That's really cool. Like
Yeah.
that story kind of reminded me of ours.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of different, like there was a lot of the same.
Lot of similarities.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's Kelsey with a Y. We chose an anonymous donor.
That's the name. Like it's
Okay.
Kelsey with a Y.
I know, but I'll pop it up here.
Oh.
We chose an anonymous donor with CCB, our first pregnancy. We wanted anonymous because we weren't interested in knowing half-siblings. We will not be registering to meet anyone who had a child from the same donor. Our first son was born with a congenital heart defect, so we chose a totally different anonymous donor from the same bank for our second pregnancy. We have 2 healthy, wonderful boys and have no desire to reach out to the donors or other families who use the same donors. We realize as our boys get older, they will have questions about their donor because they will eventually ask how they came to be, but we have been open to this point as much as you can with an 8 and 1-year-old. Our families are also understanding of how we feel and don't talk about the donors as if they're our family. That's cool, and I think it's super important to definitely get with your family and let them know your wants.
For sure, because even in our families that are super supportive, we've had the donor not a dad conversation a few times. Because they just don't.
They don't know.
They just don't know that we find it offensive, or like that there's a different language that we prefer and that kind of stuff. And we don't want them to ever talk about him as the dad in front of her.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's definitely, I highly recommend having that conversation with your families if you haven't had it before, because that was very important for us.
Mm-hmm. So Nat 44830 talks about.
That's the same one we've had before.
I know, but now, so she's talking about, because it's like a discussion going on throughout. It was a really good thread. So then Nat talks sort of in reply. We don't speak about our donor, nor does anyone in my family. My family and friends just seem to accept that we made our baby. I understand not wanting to reach out. I don't know if I would, but I'd like to know that the option could be there. I guess we didn't put a whole lot of thought into that aspect when choosing our donor. So this one's anonymous. She says, we're UK based, but use an anonymous but contactable at 18 donor from an American bank, as there's more info available than UK banks. I'm more interested in reaching out to donor half-siblings than my wife is. I was surprised how many questions we get asked about the donor. Some quite personal, but I think it's because our friends and family don't really know anyone else who has done this, so they're kind of intrigued. We plan to use the same donor for future siblings. So we get those questions.
Definitely relate a lot to those questions.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even think we realized how many questions we would get on that. Like,
some are really
personal. Yeah, insensitive or personal,
but you
or
know
just
what?
ignorant.
Honestly, as long as the person doesn't intend to be a a-hole, I always answer it, because you know what? People don't know.
A lot of people just are ignorant.
Let's not be so hasty to get, offended so easily. So we can relate to that, but yeah, we do always try to answer those kind. I try to answer those kind of questions.
Try to correct
with patience,
them with patience,
gently.
like,
Definitely
gently,
always correct them though.
and like explain it.
I say donor. She has a donor, not a dad, all the time. Or I say she has 2 moms.
Yeah.
All the time, and that's frustrating. Oh, it's so frustrating, because to me it's so obvious, but I am always patient because it's all about educating. So this is Gazelia Duarte. Hi, I'm from Brazil, and I'm choosing the donors in the sperm banks in the USA. Unfortunately, here in Brazil, sperm banks have a few data on the donor. Medical, genetic, and psychological information are important, and I want to know as much information as possible. At the moment, there's 4 donors that I really like the profile, and I'm having a hard time choosing one. Ooh, that's so cool. So this was 12 weeks ago, because it took us so long to get around to recording this because we moved home. So I'm going to need an update for sure, Gazelia. This is from S. Heidi. We live in Norway, and the rules here to become 2 equal parents legally is that the hospital chooses a donor based on the look of the woman who isn't carrying.
That's how it was in Denmark too.
Yeah, because
we were looking through doing it in Denmark because it's free, and that was some of the things that we were like, nah. Like, they also had a rule, if like the donor all of a sudden had too many like children, then they would just stop it, even though we wanted more, we had more vials and that kind of stuff, and so we just didn't want that. So
so we wanted more control and choice over it. So to go on, she says, we have nothing to say and no right to know who the donor is, but our child has the right to know who the donor is when she's 18. Her donor is Norwegian, same as us. The next one will be made in private clinic instead of hospital, and the donor will come from the European sperm bank in Denmark. But the donor's guaranteed Scandinavian. And still same rules, we don't know anything, but the child can when 18. That's cool. That's cool to see like a different perspective.